our last lesson on percents, and yes, that also means the last lesson where calculators will be a thing. After we take our quiz, I'll be not allowing you to use calculators in class again, except for this portion of the final, is dealing with simple interest. Now, I've already written a few things down here that we need to discuss. There are two formulas. I equals PRT, and EB equals P plus I. And I forgot to define I. I is interest. It will be a dollar amount. P stands for principal, which is the amount of money that you are starting with. R is the percentage rate. But in our calculations, we're going to have to use the decimal form of the percentage rate. So we do need to recall that to change a percent into a decimal, we have to find its decimal point and move it left 2 places. T stands for time in years. The second equation, EB equals P plus I, just as the ending balance, which is what we're asked to find, is equal to the principal plus the interest. So ending balance equals what you started with plus what you earned. So let me show you how this works. First thing we have to do on all these problems is calculate this capital I. So I is equal to P for principal, which is the dollar amount we start with. So that's the $8,000. That gets multiplied by the interest rate, which is 9%. But we have to use the decimal version of the interest rate. So where's the decimal point on 9%? I'll do that up here. It's after the 9. To change a percent into a decimal, we move the decimal point left 2 times. The gap gets filled in with a 0, and anytime I have a decimal, I always put an extra 0 in front of it, so I know it's a decimal. So that's how I got that 0.09. I will not be showing that for the remainder of the problems. I'm just going to talk it out. So that's I equals PR. We also need T, which is the number of years. Now we're allowed the use of a calculator, so we can just do 8,000 times 0.09 times 5. Let a calculator work that out for us, and the interest is $3,600. To get our ending balance, we have to take our principal and add our interest. So we have to do 8,000 plus 3,600. That gets us $11,600. That's the process for today. One formula that requires us to do a triple substitution, and one of those substitutions we have to slow down and convert a percentage to a decimal. And then it's just adding 2 numbers. So in 32, principal is 245. Our interest rate of 15% in its decimal form is 0.15. And our length of time is 8 years. So with a calculator, 245 times 0.15 times 8 is 294. So what do we end with? Our 245 that we started with, plus the 294 we gained, gets us an ending balance of $539. As always, I invite you to pause and attempt the last 4, and then come back and see how you did. And number 33, our interest is equal to our $1,980 times our interest rate of 0.08 for 8% times our time of 4 years. So 1980 times 0.08 times 4 gets me $633.60. Money, 2 decimal places. So our ending balance is our 1980 we started with, plus our 633.60, which I just realized I didn't get my decimal point there. Drop it in. And let's see, 1980 plus 633.60 is 2613 and 60 cents. On number 34, interest is equal to our starting $44,300 times our interest rate of 10%, so 0.10, times our amount of time, which is 4 years. So 44300 times 0.10 times 4 gets us a very nice 17,720. Our principal then, or sorry, not our principal, our ending balance is our principal of $44,300 plus our interest of $17,720. Our ending balance on this problem is $62,020. Number 35, our interest is our principal of 160 times our interest of 0.14 times our time of 5. So 160 times 0.14 times 5 is $112. Our ending balance is our $160 principal plus our $112 interest. So our ending balance is $272. Finally, with number 36, our interest equals our principal of $1,910 times our interest rate of 0.16, the decimal form of 16%, multiplied by our time of 2 years. So 1910 times 0.16 times 2, and my calculator happily tells me that's $611.20. So our ending balance is our initial principal of $1,910 plus our interest of $611.20. And that means our ending balance is $2,521.20.